later.
Or the crit to center.
Have to shop around, you know.
I mean, potentially later you can. Yeah, sadly he doesn't have the cleave to actually deal with Ember right
Here
now,
they
though.
come, Blink Lasso, it's Arteezy, grab, drag, all the way in. Remember, he's got the Aegis Immortal, but he's still very deep inside the base. Burrow Strike is stopping Cypher from popping out his damage, as Zemail needs to get that control up by the rock. It hits hard, Nubi's in trouble inside their own base. They're being pushed in deeper and deeper. It's still on the Rubik Dead, however. Down the Nubi's in trouble inside their own base. KP can't survive, Sprint held him in position. The buyback is there, KP has another life. Boogie, what do you do here? You lose your bottom rack. You have to wait for another opportunity to jump in and fight. There's no epicenter. What do you do here? You lose your bottom rack, and maybe then they can find the opportunity to fight. There's no epicenter. The tier 3 towers are under siege in 3 seconds time, and maybe then they can find the opportunity. They want the opportunity. Sand King is the one to do it. Blink, Burrow Strike, the jump out. Boogie took so much damage, however. He needs to kill off Warlock, and he's got him. The Chaos popped out of it, but now the Batrider is down. Doesn't worth it. It is for EG. They have brought down forward no buyback to GG. Evil geniuses. It is for EG. They were ahead, then now behind, and then we sharply climb. Evil geniuses. They were ahead, then now behind, Game 3 in this grand final. Sharply climb.
Man, and the hour is yet against
taking Game 3 in this grand final.
Right after they lose their rack,
Man, and the hour is yet against
I think he pulled them back from the problems in the is that they had to rely on the lasso to start off. Right after they lose their racks, he takes a big. If they didn't lasso a good target for them, it was problems in the ground. It was over. Had to rely on the lasso to start off every single fight. 10,000 gold lead. They were about to do Roche, and then a good target for them. It was over. But at the same time, Evil Genius had a 10,000 gold lead. They were about to do Roche, and then Arteezy.
I won't let you go, can't let this stay. crashing down, and we're building back up again now. Like shooting stars came crashing down. Say your heart, say your mind, say all you hide.
Didn't seem to find that moment for themselves, so that'll be the question going into the next game. If they can maybe go for something a bit faster, will they still go for these big ultis, and will they be able to work around them properly?
Lumi, is that why we see Newbie much more successful in the slower lineups that go a lot later? Is that they don't seem to, when they reach certain timings, that they don't actually aggressively go for the win?
I think so. I think they are much better when they have the clear advantage. For example, Game 2, when Naga was sitting in front of the pit, both teams knew Newbie had the advantage, so they were very good in situations like those. Whereas it's somewhat more blur. I think maybe this is like more personality than Dota, if that makes sense.
Jack, would you agree with that assessment of Newbie?
Yeah, it just seems like when they have a firm handle on things, like we said at the very beginning, if it's a controlled situation, if they know exactly what has to be done, they excel. But if they have to go make a hugely risky play, if they have to, say, not draft themselves into kind of a corner where they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves, then it doesn't work out so well. So
take risk, just do it.
Just do it, Lumi says. All right, game number 3, it spirals out of control for Newbie. Now they seek to regain control as they take a break and wait for game number 4.
Strike needs to get the epicenter off. It's the slow and the damage, but the rocket fatal bomb. It's huge with the spirit jump. It is an absolute disaster in the mid lane. Run away, newbie, as fast as you can, but there may be no port. A save today, but with that orb down, maybe it's not possible anymore. Another troll, crit, fakes the rock. Roshan almost dead and is on the ground. Aegis Immortal is there, but here goes your rock. The damage is split with the fatal bonds. Where's your return? It doesn't even really exist. It was a return, chaotic offering from Fate that creates more space for the dream call from Samael. It's the dream, but Kaka wants to go back in. He will with the epicenter of Burrow Strike. They're trading off right now. It's a 2 for 2, but with the Aegis Immortal, Life Stealer back to the world of the living. Samael chasing SC under the shrine. He'll trigger it, but it's all too late. Nuki, he needs more kills. It's a cooldown, but damn, that melee Rags is already gone. They did so much damage so quickly, they can look over to the bottom lane where Deathbomb is pushing in. With the Burrow Strike, it's the bigger cat. It's on the puck. Can the rock create no space for the fatal bond? Impetus damage from Zai is doing work. The spider fits as well. Spirit jumps the mountains to the back lines, killing off Faith. They've got enough, but will it actually be enough? The lives just coming back in again. EG, they have to buy theirs. Newbie had theirs thanks to Roshan. Still kept in here by the Dream Call. Trigger off the Lincoln Spear, the silence onto the Ember Spirit. Luki getting in close, needs more hits. Damn, it's hard! Samael is falling, he's gone, and then TP. But the initiation, KP's on the hunt, moving forward, the Blink Lasso, and again, they're gonna find the Enchantress, so one of the damage deals will be brought down, maybe not. Zai, forced away, the Lotus Orb protected him just enough. A quick little grab, the epicenter is coming in with the Burrow Strike, that's in enough for the rock, and Fatal Bond, Nubia are in a horrific position. They still need the damage. Arteezy moves forward. 224 stolen. Throwing it into Mugi, who stands his ground and will die for the cause. SC still alive at the moment. Dual Scepter. Bring him up towards the end. Life still buys back. Looking to fight harder. SC will fall. Samael with a double kill. And Kaka cannot hide. The gem has been stolen. His Burrow Strike range, however, it'll give him the movement. But Samael is there to punch his number and take him out of the fight.
It's just so hard to actually deal with Ember Spirit right now.
Here they come, Blink Lasso, it's Arteezy, grab, drag, all the way in. Remember, he's got the Aegis Immortal, but he's still very deep inside the base. Burrow Strike is stopping Zai from pumping out his damage, as Samael needs to keep that control up with the rock. It hits hard, Newbie's in trouble inside their own base. They're being pushed in deeper and deeper. They're still under the Rubik dead, however. Now the Death Prophet will join him. KP can't survive. Crit held him in position, but by that opportunity, Sand King is the one to do it. Blink, Burrow Strike, the jump out. Mugi took so much damage, however. He needs to kill off Warlock, and he's got him. The Chaotic Offering popped out of him, but now the Batrider is down. Was it worth it? It is for EG. They have brought down forward the
push, mid lane.
How to win a guy? The saucy way. Babe. Wanna eat?
Bounty Fresh Saucy Tori Karaage. Lean, tender, irresistible with 2 rich sauces.
Push! Push!
Babe.
Huh? Wow.
With lots of appetite appeal. He just can't get enough of. He'll keep coming back for more.
Babe,
Yes?
pengi pa.
Bounty Fresh Saucy Tori Karaage. Saucy sarap in an instant.
I'll see you in 3 months, hon. The kids, they're gonna be okay. Love you.
Dad! Need help?
Okay. Can you pass me the back wrench, please?
Here you go, Dad.
Here, Ratchet.
Here.
Impact wrench.
Here, Dad.
How did you?
Look, Dad, we got you! You're live!
Our Our connection's now made even stronger. PLDT Home Fiber. Plans start at 1899.
Thank you. Have a good one. Sweetie, you can't let her in. Bring Princess back outside, please.
Okay, Mom.
Hey buddy, time for homework. Playtime is over.
Okie dokie.
Don't go too far, sweetie.
Never lose sight of what's important to you. Watch over your family at home, online, and on the move. Get added peace of mind with fiber, home's most powerful broadband.
Ang ganda, anak.
Wish you were here, Ma.
I am, anak. I am.
Be there like never before with Smart's newest and fastest LTE network.
These are the moments that make champions. It's not when you're 2-0ing your way all the way to the top, but when you get knocked down, when you take that hard game 3 and lose, if you're able to make the comeback in game number 4, this is where Newbie make their stand. Are they able to force this to a game number 5, or are Evil Geniuses going to be able to close out what has been a very long and exhausting day for them? For analysis, I turn to Luminous, Trent, and Jack for game number 4. I know we had some ideas flowing actually about what do we change in the draft. Do we maybe start changing up our 1-2 bands and as a result maybe give ourselves an advantage?
We talked about coming into this series that Evil Geniuses had something up their sleeves. For Newbie, right now it's clearly Newbie's time to adjust. I think they've been at a disadvantage or at best even in all 3 drafts so far. So as you mentioned with the picks and bans, do we maybe consider letting the tree through and banning the puck? It's given them a lot of problems and as a multi-positional threat. Do we consider maybe looking at one player's specific hero pool? I think Sumail in this tournament has played as well as anyone we've seen in that mid position or at all. I think like across, I can't recall the last time I saw someone play this dominantly. And then, do you start looking at more of Sumail's heroes? Do you try to restrict his mobility and his pool a little bit through the draft? Do you start accepting that if you have a disadvantage in laning matchups, you need to target one of those lanes and maybe try to even that out a little bit? You have to do something different, I think, if you're Newbie.
I think at this point, once they've shown the flexibility and how strong that puck is from both Universe and Sumail, it just doesn't seem like an option anymore. I'll be very surprised if they let that one through. If they're not doing the draw draft and the puck is still working, clearly there has to be a problem here.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they have first pick Newbie, maybe you ban out the puck, leave in either the Treant or the Wisp. Now, I don't think they play it nearly as good as EG, but if you really care about all 3 heroes, you could ban the puck, ban the tree, let's say. Kaka does play a Wisp, so not sure if this is the time to be experimenting, though. By the way, Cap, I really like the way you opened the segment because I feel like perhaps more than ever, this is not about the draft. I think this more is about, do you have the heart of the champion? Like, did Newbie crack after that game?
After all, Newbie is a team that has suffered to actually be able to close out tournaments, right?
Yes.
They oftentimes fall 2nd, 3rd place, not really claiming the trophy of any of these lands.
Especially overseas. Like, they could do it domestically, like Jack pointed out, but this is uncharted territory, I would say, for them.
All right, our draft for game number 4 about to be unveiled. Nyx Assassin and Crystal Maiden have been the 1-2 bands from Evil Geniuses in our last 2 games. Newbie, every single game have gone for the Wisp. Tree, this time around, Tree and Puck. Good call by my ends.
Okay, so not the one we expected, though. I have to say, I'm surprised. I would have thought Tree would be the one you let through over the IO. Maybe the thought that Tree is a simpler hero, doesn't revolve around having a strategy dedicated to the IO. So maybe if they haven't been playing it all too much and you're not very practiced on it, it might make more sense to go for a Tree in that situation. So kind of understandable then.
And Evil Geniuses not opting to pick up the Wisp that was offered to them. That was their right as first pick to be able to grab that one. Instead, they go to the Crystal Maiden, which was actually what they were doing in game number 1, right? Banning Nyx and Sand King, those Kaka versatile 3-4 heroes, and then also taking the Crystal Maiden away from Newbie.
It could just be that EG feels like Newbie is not a strong IO team, so they're likely to not pick it up for themselves, and they could grab it a little bit later. And you see Newbie, even though they have the option to pick up the IO, they don't. But likely will be banned out in the 2nd phase, I believe.
Yeah, and I think this Disruptor is a fantastic pick. I thought it was one of the best played heroes they've had on Newbie side so far throughout this series, and it also counters out a lot of those heroes. Like, yes, the puck is gone, but the IO is still left in, so it's the IO +1, it's a great counter to that. And then the Ember Spirit, too, coming out from Sumail. Possibly, of course, the flexibility. We've seen it through this tournament. I don't want to completely discount it, but more than likely it will be Sumail in the mid lane, especially after such a performance like that. You've just got yourselves another counter, and we have this whole idea of how do you handle the clockwork during the draft? Where do you expect him to go? How can you prep your lanes for either this Kaka hero running through and just trying to disrupt as much as possible early on, or that kind of mid-game pacing from KP? Not too shocking to see the ball of light taken out here.
Disruptor and Clockwork both being picked up, but we seem to see this Ember Spirit constantly grabbed despite Disruptor being on the enemy team. Is Disruptor really not that good of a counter to Ember Spirit? Is it not really that good of control?
I think at this level, especially for Sumail, you expect to be able to dodge the glimpse into old combo. And again, if they expect some move to be made on Sumail in the draft, this is a hero that is a little bit flexible. There's still a laning possibility where they can give it to someone else. They can give it to Arteezy, will run it in the safe lane. Also, you have the Crystal Maiden again, which, as a high-value first pick, takes it away from Newbie and just empowers all of your lanes that much more. So I think picking that early is a good choice for them as well. Newbie going with the Clockwork, one of the rising heroes of the last patch and of this tournament as well. Again, being able to fill different roles, enabling multiple combos. So we'll have to see what direction they go here.
Yeah, I mean, Disruptor, like you said, you could, slight dodge the glimpse, but in a likely scenario where there's a big team fight going on, there's probably a lead stun that goes on Ember, and then you just drop the Static Storm on top. So I think at the end of the day, Newbie is still very happy that they have the Disruptor into the Ember. At the same side, I don't think EG is like, oh my god, they have Disruptor, we can't pick Ember. I feel like on both sides, they're relatively happy with the heroes that they got.
Yep, I think the Clockwork was also probably a little bit of a deny pick too. Certainly could have been an option there with the CM. That's been one of his most successful allies when you're running it in that support role. So it makes it a lot easier to open up those lanes. But Disruptor, yeah, he's just one step of the solution to the Ember Spirit. It'll be just like that puck. You can do a lot of the same similar things to dodge or to glimpse with that hero. But still, Renowned is one of the better options as support up against it. And we will receive a ban on the Enchantress, so Evil Geniuses won't have to worry about the possible problems that in that mid-game.
They're not going to ban away the Drill Ranger. Is there any danger of Evil Geniuses turning this into a fast push strategy?
I think with the Ember Core reveal, the chance of that is actually relatively low, right?
And you'd need a Prophet or something like an NP to make it work.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a draw here.
But in terms of KP heroes, we will again lose ourselves the Enigma, and we harken back to Tidehunter. Up against the Ember Spirit, very risky of course. Gotta make sure you're gonna hit that Ravage. Certainly do not want to miss, and I'm sure they're also gonna want a little bit more information. Maybe we'll get ourselves a position 1. Okay, so that's what's gonna be. Still a little bit of that flexibility. We've seen plenty of the matchups of the Ursa versus the Ember Spirit in the mid, and this will leave that option open for them as the draft progresses.
So this is kind of like, hey, we're denying you the Sumail mid Ember. You could put it there. You're gonna have a huge lane disadvantage. And of course, Newbie is a great Ursa lineup already. They picked that against Phoenix earlier today, but they love the hero. They'll pick it without Phoenix in the game.
I think he's also been very successful against Ember Spirit in a lot of drafts too. Any of these very elusive heroes, right? It only takes that one stun, the multi-step solution. One person just holds him in place, you try and burst him down as fast as possible. Flame Guard not going to assist you here. Now Evil Geniuses need to try and figure out, okay, so what do we do here? Like, where is our pacing? What are we going to find? Do we need to think about some other options in terms of the laning phase? Because they're not going to have that last pick. They're not going to have the final option to see where Newbie's going to send this bear.
I wonder if we'll see a Tusk here. It's a hero that we've seen some teams favor a lot.
I like the Tusk here.
So,
yeah.
But it feels like some kind of save for all of this single target that you have coming up from Newbie could be useful for them, especially if that Ember Spirit does feel a bit vulnerable early on.
Yeah, the Frozen Sigil in particular is not very effective against Ursa, but still it's just scouting for the Roshan and whatnot. But instead it's going to be a Kunkka. So my worry for EG right now is you have 2 backliners that have no defense for themselves when Ursa jumps on you. Unless Kunkka hits a Torrent on himself, which is, you might just be dead before your cast animation even finish once the Ursa jumps in. So EG is having a lot of confidence that the positioning is going to be good, and they're going to have some really strong frontliners that Ursa needs to like bypass before he could jump to the backline.
Now we have to try and figure out exactly what it will be for Universe as well for Evil Geniuses. We saw plenty of the Darkseer plus the Kunkka, so that little combination of the boat, the vacuum. We'd have the Iron Shell combo on top of the Ember Spirit. Been pretty popular before, but he does suffer up against the Disruptor in lane sometimes, can control you, boast Surge. Can help build into 4 staffs though for the Clockwork Cogs, but indeed we shall get our Tidehunter. So we've already discussed kind of the issues that could be there up against the Ember Spirit, but with the heavy team fight coming in from the Kunkka with that rum buff, now if you can set up with the Tidehunter, it's much like the song from the Naga Siren, big AoE kind of control and try and layer on top with the Static Storm. So if they can get that right synergy between our Tidehunter and our Disruptor, you can just win team fight after team fight.
I think EG will once again stick with the 3 self-sufficient core type of draft they've had, especially since if this is a double roam from the Crystal Maiden and Kunkka, all of the Newbie heroes right now are a bit level dependent to reach like optimal effectiveness, and that could be an issue for them if these 2 are going around just winning lanes one by one.
So what would you say a strong self-sufficient safe laner would be that could go up against the Tidehunter? Because we saw the effectiveness of previously in the Drill Ranger, being able to kind of keep the Tidehunter at bay, not able to get any sort of laning phase farm. You want a similar kind of strategy here, right?
I feel like Weaver is a very strong pick here. You get the good lane against the Tidehunter. It's tough against Disruptor, because obviously glimpses to Sagstorm is always a thing, but I mean, he already has to deal with the Ember, and it's one of RTC's best heroes.
Yep. Do you think they would dare just raise her again? I mean, he is someone who can kind of feed off of the... oh, finally! He's here! Okay, so we'll get a different kind of a tanky hero. We've been talking Bristleback, ignored completely throughout the series, despite being a major talking point for what felt like the past 2 best-of-3s before it.
Every time we talk about Bristleback, we always mention Ursa's the hero that could beat him, right? Ursa's here.
If you have the control that holds you in place for a direction, though, which is something that Sagstorm doesn't do, despite being quite a bit of that, you know, control element in your silence and
you can still turn.
You can still turn quite a bit, so they do kind of still need something, it feels like, from Newbie.
Normally, we would look to the Legion Commander with Tidehunter already being picked up. So
could be a Shadow, like a Shadow Blade mid, someone to go for the Silver Edge, perhaps.
Are we going to have Bristleback in our off lane or our safe lane?
That's a good question.
This seems a little bit more unlikely with the picks right now, but Void is also a possibility that some teams have used against Bristleback. Obviously, with the time dilation, more lockdown, it doesn't synergize necessarily that well with their lineup, though. So I'm not sure if a Newbie would go in that direction.
Yeah, 3 other melee heroes, it seems like one hell of a feat.
Kind of like a Lina, perhaps, from Newbie, if they wanted to just ship that Ursa. Is one of those Silver Edge carriers. Could give them quite a bit of right click, even some additional stuns just to follow up a very balanced hero. Could even think about perhaps an Invoker too, although we haven't been blessed with one yet today.
There's still a Shadow Fiend, a Silver Edge carrier. The Batman suggests that they want to run the Ursa in the safe lane, so they still have that mid with the synergy with the Clockwork as well.
Wandering their way here on this last band for Evil Geniuses. What don't they want to see? What lanes don't they want? I wonder how willing they are to send that Ursa into the mid lane as well, and well, maybe likewise, Evil Geniuses could still even pick up a separate mid hero themselves.
They've got every single role open, potentially, right? Yeah. They could do safe lane Ember, mid Bristleback, off lane Bristleback. Like every single position could be open if they really wanted to change the lanes. So they ban away the Storm Spirit, a frequent pickup versus the Bristleback, and would do a fine matchup versus Ember as well. And they go for the Darkseer.
Okay.
That combination with the Kunkka, nice strong frontline hero with some sustain.
Probably the best universe hero that's left, I would say, in this situation. If we were going to go that way, again, the Ion Shell, the Vacuum, very balanced strategy from Evil Geniuses. This is the kind of stuff we kind of look at for those like Game 3 scenarios near the end. You'd almost think it was best of 5, something like that, but feel pretty good about what Evil Geniuses have brought out.
OD.
Okay, so they're going to mix it up and go for the lane win.
That's the thing here, though, with the Bristleback. We've seen this hero run in all 3 lanes throughout this tournament, and the Darkseer as well, so they didn't necessarily commit themselves to a lane with those picks either. And I like that from EG as a general theme and a drafting strength throughout this tournament.
I think the OD was kind of cool too, because we were talking about how the Ursa, if he was up against the Ember Spirit, he was going to be able to just probably have the safe win. But then we were thinking about these other heroes that could have helped their draft in some other ways, be it through the control. The Invoker comes to mind against the Bristleback because although he doesn't build a Silver Edge or anything, he does get that mana drain. And that's one way, like lots of this team fight control, but instead the OD, we can also work our way through there too. This is a Bristleback who's just in the middle of the fight. You're just kind of always stealing this in from him. You're being able to drain all of his mana and try and make him as useless as possible. So.
Sounds like you're leaning with you.
I'm going to go with Bristleback because that hero kept winning games, and I'm surprised it took this long for him to show up, so I'm actually going to go with EG.
Jack?
I like EG as well. I think their dual roam is going to do a lot of work this game. I'm not sure if Newbie will be able to match those rotations. I like EG as well.
I like Newbie's draft, but like Cap brought up, I don't know it's about the Dota. It's just whether you're cracked or not. But I believe in them. Tiwal Alam. Go Newbie.
All right. Lumi back in Newbie. Hardcore here. The rest of my panel says Evil Geniuses. Game number 4, EG Newbie underway. Toby, Juan, and Merlini.
Something tells me when Lumi acts like that, this crowd is going to lynch him pretty soon. Either way, we got ourselves a game 4, rapidly approaching. Fun times around. We get to see the return of the Tidehunter.
Sad times too. This could be our last game.
It could be. but maybe not. We all don't want to go to work. We all want to stay here and just watch Dota 2 until the wee hours of the morning.
Early smoke coming out already from Newbie.
Well, it already got broken. Ping came out, so Kaku understands that Universe and Sumail are here, so no early observer warding as, well, volume is a wonderful thing. Let's just crack a window for it.
I am surprised that Bristleback has taken this long to show up in this particular series. Don't have any good Silver Edge carriers on Newbie side to potentially deal with him later on. I think Ursa's actually pretty good at dealing with it. You can tank through, bursting him down with the Enrage, and you also just have massive amounts of damage that paltry Bristleback won't be able to mitigate.
It's also one of those fights too where EG, like we've seen the Bristleback time and time again, just tank through and just extend these fights out so long. That seems to play more into the hands of OD. With every attack, just continue to steal more and more intelligence and build up more and more and more.
However, they are probably going to have to build BKBs though. The team fight combination with a boat into the vacuum is potentially devastating, and there's even easier setup for them too. Like Bristleback's good at making heroes clump up and fight around him, and Ember Spear is very good at also isolating heroes and potentially setting them up for big combos.
Maybe this is also a game where the Crystal Maiden is able to have an effect that isn't just death.
Please, Arcane Aura token. That's always
delivers
useful.
death. She becomes the angel of death as opposed to the angel of, well, her own demise.
She's a snow angel.
Snow angel? That's the old taunt. We use new taunts these times. Alright, well I guess we have fun little matchup. So again, OD going up against the Ember in the mid. And it's Arteezy who's going to try and zone out KP on the top lane. A little bit more difficult for him to do that this time around, just because you will have a very tanky Tidehunter. KP's come prepared with a lot of tangos. The only thing he's going to be concerned about is the extra stacks on the Quill.
He does not have a magic stick and also does not have access to the side shop, however, so that's not good at all for KP.
Wondering how Mookie actually handles the bottom lane. Ursa versus a Darkseer. It seems like a lot of unwilling damage you have to take to the Iron Shells that continue to push out the lane.
Yeah, that's not a good matchup for Ursa. He does very poorly against heroes that can shove in the lane. You don't want to be hitting creeps with Ursa. You want to be hitting heroes.
Is it worth actually changing your item build up a little bit? Like we've seen Moogie go for the Vladimirs, so maybe it's worthwhile like getting a little bit of lifesteal earlier on, just to give you that sustain in the lane. Let him focus, kill off the Iron Shell creep, and not worry about having to drag the creep wave underneath the tower every time.
I think that's a big commitment, because you could alternatively just pick up a Ring of Regen for Vlad's later, and it should suffice. And Darkseer already heading over to the jungle universe, not about this lane. Disruptor, one of the better heroes I would say at killing a Darkseer, but he is still level 1 on a Darkseer.
And SC's really trying to get up in Sumail's face. Sumail will burn his last bit of regeneration. SC's still going to salve up himself, and he's going to just steal a haste rune. Not a lot he's going to be able to do with that. But it's more just keep on top of Sumail. Clockwork was starting his rotations as well. Kaka actually synergizes quite nicely with the OD imprisonment. Just walk in, so then you get the cogs and the battery assault. Control up Sumail so we cannot escape.
But it's not great when the lane is shoved in so deeply onto EG's side of the map. What are the downsides of Astro, I would say? Not that there are many.
A lot of movement up on the top lane still, and that's something which be a little bit careful about when the Clockwork is the one who moves into the lane to leech a little experience. This is mainly because Tidehunter has backed off the lane just to farm up his own camps, to stack him up and farm them. So just more efficiency coming in from Newbie. Allow the Clockwork to get an earlier level 6, and EG, they want to try and punish this if it's possible. With a two-man smoke maneuver, they go for SC, and he's a long way forward. This should be the first blood. Now, Sumail is low on life. There is the defensive imprisonment available, and he's actually going to use it aggressively, keeping the Ember out. The torrent will not connect, and support has arrived in the form of Raptors. Clever girl.
Wow, can't believe they missed that torrent. And he also went for the level 1 in Tidebringer on Zai. He does go for this build fairly often, I would say, but one level X almost certainly would have secured that kill. Makes him wonder whether or not he regrets that one point. Yeah. Gotta get that farm on, though.
Is it also to like help out with the stacks? Or like, how do you?
He's just relying on other people to set up for him, right? And like the Ember Spirit route and the Frostbite should be sufficient
Well,
enough.
he can potentially die. Bounty Rune gets stolen. Kaka starts with the Battery Assault. There's no support really coming to him, but that level 2 Battery Assault, it should be enough damage to kill off Zai, but the Torrent, it creates just enough space. Kaka, he has the movement speed. The Battery Assault will wear off. One little swing will not be enough. Dropping the Observer Ward behind the tower.
But now, Zai, what do you actually do here?
He's got no consumables.
Yeah.
He has to, okay, he has to take the consumable. He takes the salve from Arteezy.
Seems pretty necessary at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Sumail keeping up fairly well in terms of CS, actually
Mid
edging
lane.
out.
Imprisonment. No, they get the wall up instead. Sumail can't get back to the tower. So Clockwork, Searing Chains keeps him away.
Ooh, I think he was just out of range for Astral, too. Ideally, you'd Astral during the route so that you can close the distance after the route ends, but perfect timing on that. And waiting for that 5-minute shrine on the top so Ember can get straight back to lane. But it's a little bit worrisome for Newbie in the early game when KP hasn't been able to find that much farm. Darkseer has been free farming for quite some time. And Ember Spirit getting the best of the 3 lanes.
Maybe you're still fine there with KP. Like his CS is obviously inflated, because like, as in between his net worth and his CS, the difference would be large because it's all from the neutral camps, and none of them being the Ancients. But you're still getting him close towards level 6. Crystal Maiden, that glimpse, it's a little bit too far away. Faith, he's trying to get in front of Crit to body block him up and allow Kaka to close that distance. Not to mention Mugi. Mugi would love to find himself a kill. Faith, still continuing this run, and there's the wall. But Crit has now wasted time of 3 heroes. The Cogs will trap him in. If he actually gets denied up right now, this will be a disaster. But Mugi will take it, drawing first blood on the Crystal Maiden, giving that extra cash to the Ursa Warrior.
And normally you would say Space Creator, but for first blood, I think that's worth it for Newbie.
It is. That extra money into him. And you can see the quick buy from Mugi. He's already preparing himself for the phase boots, plus the extra lifesteal top lane. KP's being dove right now by Arteezy. You do have the X mark spot, but you don't have the distance, and KP underneath that shrine. Gonna be out of fight. Kaka coming in from behind as well. If Arteezy wants to keep up with this, he does have 5 stacks currently on KP. The distance created. Quick bounty resolve, the Battery Assault. Arteezy, he wants more. That's 4 stacks over on the Clockwork. Make it 5 back to the safety of the tower. Arteezy going in deep. He's got the creep wave with him. That's the protection available. The KP, now the stacks are gone. The Raptor is arriving. It's Disruptor. They've got more health. Crit and Zai, but Arteezy walled up at the moment. He can't make his way to Mexico as they'll frost him up. So at least Newbie will not continue the chase against DG.
1 mango, actually 2 mangoes consumed by Bristleback. Not that great for him. He's actually going for a Vanguard first. A little bit surprising considering the heroes that he's up against. Ursa hits so hard that the damage block is not that good. A lot of pure damage coming out from the OD, but great for farming.
Arteezy's going to come back up to the top lane, but KP's very happy with the situation. Okay, root and mid. Sumail, well, okay, trade 1 for 1 as far as harassment for harassment.
It's bad that the OD feels pressured, though, in this lane. Sumail was able to take the last room.
Oh, speaking of pressure, quick jump forward with multiple spirits. Sumail finds the kill on SC. Can Faith punish him, however? Keeping the chase going. He has glimpse available. The vision is up. Sumail now being pulled back underneath the tower, but no! Sleight of fist dodging the glimpse back. He'll put the spirit down and start his TP home. They can see the spirit on the front line. He doesn't really want to come forward to that. Nijira is asking for applause from the chat wheel.
The pinnacle of individual play as a mid laner has come out from Sumail in this tournament. Just small plays like that.
He's so good. Bottom lane, maybe a little bit of trouble for Universe. On the run now, Ravage commits. Actually just clips him on the edge.
Important kill for them, too. Darkseer's their main team fighter, I would say. And without the mech being picked up by the Bristleback, I don't think he should have, but you need 1 mech carrier, I would say, on their team.
Yep. Glimpse, gonna pull back. Kunku did get the X marks the spot again, EG, and the taunt as well. You know Newbie can see that. They flared it up with the Clockwork.
Yeah, seeing some influence from other teams' drafts, we see, Kuka picked up more commonly so versus the Disruptor, Bristleback, also rising to the forefront, and EG adopting stuff from other teams, but executing it with their own little flair.
Yeah. But at the same time, Newbie, they still have an Ursa getting a lot of momentum. He can look towards Roshan. EG, it's the question mark as well. We had it previously when Newbie had this Ursa. Can they contest Roshan? Do they have the ability to take the fight against Newbie? Should also note, Ravage is down for 83 seconds because of that kill on bottom lane.
But he has the best Roshan build too with the 0-3-4. You want max free swipes, you don't need Earthshock at all for this, and there is little chance for them to go inside. The positioning from Newbie, the fortification is incredibly difficult for EG to penetrate.
The Dire Observer was seeing enough. X marks the spot. No one's going to get inside that pit. Zai just tried to go for the Torrent.
This time, though, they didn't waste that much time
or faith
for the road.
He's going to glimpse Arteezy down. The wall is up. Arteezy will be contained. And Mugi already starting up with a couple of stacks. No, the cogs pushing Arteezy away. It burns the mana, yes. But they wanted to trap him in there with the Ursa Warrior. That was the intention, but not the result.
4-staff first will be the build for Darkseer. Very concerned about the clockwork in this game. And they don't have good 4-staff buyers in their team. I suppose Crystal Maiden, but she's going to be the poorest of the bunch. Forward thinking from EG as they look for a way to claim these team fights. Because Newbie, they're certainly going to play around the Ravage, going to play around the Aegis, and the best way for them to do that is to force objectives. And EG, you either need to split push or have stronger team fight of their own.
Run, Crit, run! Very. Oh, X marks the spot, can play around on the bottom lane. It's just going to throw Kaka up. Crit does get back to the tier 2 tower. Division, Mugi couldn't get there in time to give Division to get the glimpse. But they understand with the Aegis Immortal, EG will not want to fight him. The Ravage is back up for KP. So trade-off is what they want. That bottom tower still up, is in well within deny range. Kaka pushing back Universe. They're going to fight on top of the cogs, burning a lot of mana here. But if they kill off Kaka, battery assault, Universe Science shot a point-blank range hook shot. Well, he had it, may as well throw it. Glimpse. They find Crit. That doesn't get him back in range of the wall. Might also reveal the fact the Observe Ward's up on top of the hill.
And Faith has had a lot of trouble connecting with these kinetic fields. And that's their main disable, I would say, in this early game. If Clockwork's not there to lock them in with cogs, they have very difficult to execute disables. Even Ravage is not going to be the easiest spell for them to hit.
Yep. Crit did work it out straight away. So the ward went down. He hasn't put down a fresh one of his own, and well, start your run. Ursa Warrior, Crit triggers with the phase boots, and a perfect glimpse this time around. Crystal Maiden gets mopped up. The Torrent was going to create a little bit of space, but the kill was just so fast, there's no way for EG to really react to it.
They need to utilize the Bristle, though. The Bristle has been farming a lot, but Newbie are steamrolling towers right now. He is strong enough to the point where he can go in and fight, but if he TP's in, he just gets glimpsed back.
TP's are coming. Kaka, well, he's got hookshot off cooldown in 2 seconds time and managed to isolate Zai. They trap him inside the storm. A quick fall stop, hookshot out. Kaka does manage to hold him. A quick glimpse. Nope, that's not going to work. Already imprisonment was used. The funny thing is the glimpse does still work with that. KP holding the Ravage. 4 heroes pretty close together. Crit gonna get gushed up. Arteezy comes in. Samael could buy Universe. The only person not hit by that Ravage, but he just jumps in. There goes your Spirit Jump. But SC has to take that Ember Spirit out. They want to keep fighting. The Courier gets sniped off in the meantime. That was the Radiant one. Back to life from the Aegis Immortal. A quick TP out. Is there a stun? Is there anything? Yes, there is. That's a Frostbite. Available from Crit. Meanwhile, around the shrine, the ship flies in, and right now he's trying to ensolo the man, the conquer. He wants to crack the melon. The Darkseer Wall will help out. EG, underneath their own shrine, will win, and Zai taunting on 1 HP under the corpses of Newbie and away from the Ancients, which are also threatening his life.
Boat OP. That damage reduction with the shrine, he was affordable at that point. And finally, they get good mileage out of the Bristback. Very smart move for RTG to TP onto the T2. If he had TP'd onto the T1, that would have been a disaster for them. They actually had the CM TP in. RTZ TV back to the T2. He got glimpsed, but only back to the T2 and was able to connect in.
Kaka, he's pinging out. He wants to go for Arteezy, at least if he can lock him in. Hook shot, there she goes. They're still too close towards the tower. And with an extra 4-star already up from Universe, they pushed Arteezy into safety. Defensive imprisonment will save the clockwork, Adverse initiation, and maybe, well, Arteezy's still in a little bit too far. Glimpse and Storm are available, but newbies still don't want to fight this. They don't have the Aegis Immortal again.
They have to change plans now. They failed the first Aegis push. They weren't able to claim the T1 tower, and the Bristle is proving to be much more than they can handle. And I guess theoretically you could kite him with the cogs and the battery assault and the astral, but it's way too difficult for them to maneuver around. So right now, I think they need to take a step back, farm a little bit, play around the next Roshan where you can get EG to come to you instead of EG sitting right behind.
Cogs, the trap. She was on a mission of death. Crit just wanting to ward in a little bit deeper, but unable to do so. That was going to be their protection ward. So Arteezy, as he does this push on the bottom lane, doesn't feel as intimidated, but Kaka looking to hit the goal onto Arteezy, and well, Arteezy walks straight into it. The wall is down. They can just start battery assaulting him up. You still have the Storm available, so a quick hook shot. The cogs keep pushing him away. Arteezy walks back into it. Kaka will find the kill. Faith, maybe a little bit of overcommitment with the Storm.
I think it was important for them. He didn't walk back into it. He got force-stepped out by the Darkseer, but the cog positioning from Kaka was perfect right there. That is the way you play around force-steps. If you trap him inside, you just force-step out. But if you trap him on the other side, if you force-step him, he just gets knocked back by another cog, Sumail.
Quick jump out. That tower's within deny range now, so they might lose the money. Oh, Sumail glimpse down, but again, Sumail, you can't touch this.
X-Back just for extra safety. And Sumail still claiming that very high net worth position. He's been doing an excellent job of dying very few times. I think he had only 2 total deaths this game or last game, and this game hasn't died yet.
If he does die, like, you almost feel like even if EG get backed into a corner, you can still just BT out with a very escapable Ember Spirit, and he can just get X marked back as well. You'd almost play this the way you'd almost play a Tinker, except you just don't have the Rhea.
Yeah, I think they've been over-relying perhaps the Disruptor as a hard disable when perhaps something, you know, Lion, Shadow, Shaman, these heroes have much more reliable jumps versus the Ember Spirit.
Because you got that instant burst damage before a reaction can come from EG.
And Hex is as good as any.
Kaka's on the hunt again. Quick Observer Ward down because he's right underneath the Dire Observer. So they understand what's going on. Zai starts his TP. They both will escape. Not going too far. Zai only went back to the tier 2 tower on the top lane.
OD going back to farm. He has picked up an early Hanamitis.
Yep.
So just need to sit back, play around the Roshans for a little bit and take it easy. No need for them to force team fights right now. Whereas EG, they just need to farm as much as possible around the map and consider when the right time to strike around the Roshan is.
You can also see the desire of SC, right? Like it's like the Hurricane Pike gives him the distance to still keep attacking into Arteezy without having to take the damage of the Quill Sprays.
Exactly. I think the Hurricane Pike is going to be huge in being able to deal with the Bristleback.
Or Sumail. They see Kaka. They would love to go on it. He moves around the corner, so Sumail now reveals himself. The cogs are up. Torrent. Well, Kaka is just out of range of it until he walked back into the boat. He doesn't have enough damage, so he has to start the run. The hookshot bought space, and the wall from Faith is perfect. Sumail caged like a lion. And KP wants to make something out. There's a quick stick charge. Universe. There's your force off going to work again, and another great torrent from Zai, catching both Kaka and Faith as they wanted to continue the pursuit, but were denied.
Kaka is surprisingly tanky for a Clockwork with very few survivability items. He has just a little bit of strength from his items right now, but he's able to survive despite the Veil Burst from Ember. So Roshan going to respawn very, very soon. Actually, maximum respawn, but still soon nonetheless.
Yeah, just 2 minutes, 20 seconds until Roshan is up.
EG have no way to get vision inside the pit. A torrent, I suppose, but that's very little. Revenant does not get vision.
It's actually one of the very, like the first lineup almost in this grand final, which doesn't have good control over Roshan.
Well, the other game they had good vision of the pit, but they didn't actually have good fight in the pit. I think this time they could perhaps park the bristle there. Normally you're okay with tanking with a bristle, but versus an OD, you don't want to get hit at all.
Yeah, that's what you see him building in. Like, he's got the Solar Crest available, he's got a Talisman of Evasion in his quick buy.
Yeah, evasion and like Ghost Scepter, generally the two defensive items as cores versus an OD. But Ghost Scepter not particularly good on bristle.
We mentioned with KB before where he likes to go for these like these lifestyle items, something that's going to keep him alive, the mech, the pipe. He's managed to finish up the hood, but he also purchased the earlier Blink Dagger. So he's got that jump and initiation to work with. Faith. Wait, does he actually kill Oxford here? They go one-on-one, the wall is up, the Storm is committed, actually triggering onto the Bristleback. It's right on top of the ramp. So Arteezy can't get aggressive into it, but with Storm down, maybe they feel they can fight. Samael is there, but there's your also 4-star from Newbie. There's SC who finished up his, pushing Disruptor away to safety.
Could have been dangerous for both sides.
Waiting for Newbie to group up for their own smoke. Currently they are carrying one on the Disruptor. And we're tight under Ravage available. The Blink Dagger is on the Ursa.
This Yule's pickup by Kaka could potentially be pretty big too. They don't have a good way to catch out the Ember, but with the Yule's into a Cogs pushback, that might be enough for them to chain disable him after that.
Here we go again. It's the smoke from EG. They want the fight before Roshan's done. In fact, they're looking directly towards Roshan, thinking that Newbie should be in it. And it's understandable. You assume that this fight is on in Roshan because it's almost max spawn time. Instead, they find a better target. It's SC. The Torrent won't be able to chain properly. A quick glimpse, pulling Samael away, and a defensive imprisonment down from the OD, giving Samael the desire to go underneath the tower and goes one-on-one with SC. The Searing Chains will burn him out. And SC feeling very defensive and Samael able to capitalize. And really heavily, 40 seconds with no buyback. EG can look to Roshan. Newbie could do the same with a rocket, however.
They had their ultimates, however. They didn't have static zone for that fight, but now it has cooled down from the failed attempt earlier. Bristleback, I don't think he has enough damage to solo it on his own. He is constantly casting solar on it, but it is a slow and steady kill.
And as long as like the mid lane, they smoked up. So EG uncertain of the positioning now of Newbie, and this is going to be enough to get Arteezy to leave Roshan.
And with their earn up, he is very scary.
But OD's alive.
It's still scary for an OD because he can't attack at will. He has to worry about the Ember jumping him.
Arteezy. They're trying to glimpse him away from the Observe Wall. The perfect Searing Chains catching Faith. They're going to amplify them up with the Veil of Discord as well. But with the Cogs, there's just no way for EG to get properly up the ramp. Not safely and not with mana.
The Bristleback is now rivaling the Tidehunter.
Do they want this?
In the front line.
No, they don't.
He is not the target you go on.
Do we not learn that lesson before with Eternal Envies?
Well, the counter to that is just positioning yourself in the way that they have to go on you.
Into the pit we go. Clockwork Rocket again, providing that vision for Newbie. Kaka knows with a good hook shot, he can split this fight.
He does get brief vision of the other cores moving to the north side, so he can suspect that they're potentially to the north side of the pit as opposed to the right side where the shrine is.
That Rocket still again. -9 armor on Roshan. He's down to 2.4k. Arteezy doesn't want to finish this. He needs to regen up for just a little bit. 13 one charges are available, so Arteezy has a lot more to fight with. As they go back in, Newbie still waiting for the perfect opportunity, the tense situation around the pit. They want to go. The Ravage is ready, but EG's positioning, everything's on the back lines. Crit lets the ulti go. It's more cover and KP. It's a 5-man Ravage. Roshan taken by the Radiant. Ursa picked up the Agency Mortal. 3-man back wall, however. Maybe they can start turning this one around, EG. They've already brought down the OD and Arteezy. He wants to fight. He's low with the one charge, giving that extra boost. The Agency Mortal triggered on the Ursa. Can they mop up the extra pieces? No, they can't. That disrupt the wall, lock them there. But then again, who are you really locked in with? Moogie trying to man fight this up, but he just can't do it. Even X marks the spot, drags him away from his meat.
Such a perfect Ravage coming out from KP, but no follow-up. They weren't clumped up enough for a good static storm, and there was just no burst, no Sanity's Eclipse even cast by the OD. He didn't have any into steal to start. Why even cast it? At least Ursa picked up the cheese. but small spoils from a fight that Newbie desperately wanted to take.
Yep. And it was the perfect initiation. We talked about KP with his Bat Rider in the last game, getting those early initiations off perfectly. He hit 5 heroes. Obviously, the Crystal Maiden was the easier one because you're standing still, but they had the opportunity. And then you could look to Universe. That walk into the back wall caused real chaos for Newbie.
Yep, no BKBs up yet for them. So still very, very vulnerable to being ping-ponging around the fight. They will go for BKB next on the OD, not focusing on the Hurricane Pike, realizing that he needs to deal with all of these spells in the fight as opposed to being able to deal with the Bristleback. Earlier.
Ursa's going to have more problems. Arteezy's going for him. He's got a fresh howl, but Arteezy knows he's basically immortal at the moment.
Yeah, there's just no way they're going to be able to MKB this early to deal with him. So right now, when you go full defense on Bristle like this, you just have to kite him. But kiting is just not so simple.
Not when Arteezy just running directly at you.
Yeah, 43% evasion, and then the Bristleback too. It's just, you also have no way for him to face you. You have no Silver Edge, no True Strike, just no way to deal with him.
That's why it almost looks like they're trying to kite him with that Diffusal Blade build from the Ursa, burn off a little bit of the mana and just keep slowing him down. Either that or they change the target. Maybe we have to start thinking about Sumail. Do they try and jump in, remove that Flame Guard, keep the lockdown and just murder him quickly so then you could focus on the Bristleback?
You do, but Sumail knows that he is the one that cannot get caught out. Similar to last game, we never saw him as a lasso target because he simply did not make himself available. Just play around the Bristleback, let him get the vision. If you are unsure, just position yourself around the pit. And I really like how EG positioned themselves there. Normally you'll see them all to the south of the shrine just clumped up for a good ravage. You think the high ground is good, but it's the small choke that actually is your downfall in that fight. So they spread out, sacrificing the high ground for better spread so they don't all get ravaged.
Oh, Arteezy's going to take this tier 2 town without any kind of contest and without any kind of trade. Nubia still trying to regain control of their mid as well as top lane. And Arteezy hitting at 225. Not too bad for a level 15 Bristleback who's gone for primarily surviving items. And they can keep going. As we said, Arteezy feels immortal. 11-1 charges up his sleeve as well. He's got Universe to lend the pipe. Potential ship save, but they're going to leave. They already managed to force Newbie to return home.
At least they finally got that prize T1 in the mid lane. Will make Roshan contest a little bit easier. They're not interested in fighting right now. Yeah, they have Ravage, but as has been proven in the prior fights, Bristleback is way stronger than High Hunter for the team fight, based on the damage output and the team damage output and his tankiness.
Well, in a way, I think Newbie has just read this maneuver from EG correctly. They know EG are going to push for the last real remaining out of towers, especially that last tier 1 tower up on the top lane. But they don't have everyone. KP is still sitting in the mid. They're going to try and initiate in. Hook shot up. The Yule Scepter. Make sure when he comes down, it's inside the storm, and Sumail will fall. 55 seconds on the sideline. Now Arteezy wants to make his play. Crit letting it go. They're locked inside their own cogs. The ship, Torrent and Ward. Nowhere to run. Newbie being crippled on the top lane. 2 heroes down. Well worth the trade when Sumail does die. And they might have another one. Defensive imprisonment from SC. Having to be used to save his Disruptor. But what does Faith really have left to give apart from his life? That is actually it. And they may lose more. SC burning that BKB of his. So with Newbie having only the Tide and the OD remaining, they cannot contest EG on this top lane.
Yeah, they read that movement well, but not well enough. EG were all sitting behind Sumail. If they just got the clean Sumail kill, sure, that would have been great for Newbie. But EG, as you mentioned, all grouped up, ready to push that T1 tower. And perhaps they just give the Aegis next time to Sumail as if Arteezy's ever going to die.
Right now, he's fine. He's got a lot of money up his sleeve as well, so that next, if he wants to go tanky item, if he wants to increase that armor of his, he's able to do so. You'll set it from Kaka, pulling up Arteezy, lock him inside the cogs. You do have that Conquer Boat available, but on the back lines is where Mugi is initiating Ember Spirit that jumps down the Ravage from KP. Space be created. The ship has actually slowed down a lot of the damage, allowing Arteezy to find up against SC. He throws the ulti out, trying to kill off Universe, who just basically runs the circle. The storm is down. Arteezy locked down. Finally, SC will fall. The Torrent control him. KP once more. Arteezy, the tank, the man who survived for so long, will finally die.
Wow, that was an amazing play by that Ursa coming in from the right side. And
crit, Solar!
Sumail didn't have a Remnant down beforehand. As soon as he got Diffusal, he tried to drop a Remnant, but he hardly moved and wasn't able to distance himself away from the Ursa. And that was the start of the bad fight for EG. And as you mentioned, the target selection priority is incredibly important for Newbie. Try and ignore the Bristle as best you can. He did get Astral and Cogs, and they were able to take out the backline of EG before Bristleback was able to do his thing.
To be honest, I thought EG's support was going to kick in a lot harder. Like, I was waiting for that ship to be right on top the second Arteezy was cogged up,
but they had already lost Sumail.
Yeah,
at the start of the fight.
It was just chaos. But that's the issue, right? You fight between the tier 2 tower as well as the shrine. No matter how confident you feel, it's a lot easier for Newbie to pin through in that position.
EG were expecting it to be a much smoother fight with the BKB already.
Here's the heal center again. Karka trying to create space and catch out crit. At least reveals the fact the Water's there, has his own hook shot, glimpse, pulling him back, and Moogie, he wants the kill. And he will have the Crystal Maiden.
Gaga's just throwing himself out there. They don't have good burst actually on EG unless they commit a lot of Remnants.
He's still looking to fight. I suppose the Crystal Maiden is the one down, but the hook shot's up for Karka. Throws the rocket out, doesn't get the vision of the TPing out Ember, but they do see his spirit. So if they want to camp it, they could wait for him to return. And looks like Sumail has no desire to do that at the moment.
Too risky. Radiant Observer Ward did see Bristleback pick up the Arcane Rune. That is not a fight you want to take. It's easy to ignore him if he doesn't have these. It's just not spam wills, but with Arcane Rune, it's too much damage to ignore.
The second 4-staff's now been done. So with Yule Scepter and Glimmer Cape to already interrupt the targets that EG are looking to focus on, then you got the double 4-staffs, the double blinks. A lot of maneuverability available here for Newbie. That kiting we're talking about against the Bristleback is becoming more and more possible. Even though EG also have a lot to work with. But right now, Bristleback is the frontline tank. His intimidation of damage is something that only comes over time as the stacks build up. And Sumail is moving himself into also a defensive item. So is this when EG have to slow up the pace of the game? Is this when Newbie actually bring the damage, bring the superior team fight?
Once they get the BKB on Ursa, they can. He is very, very close to the BKB. Otherwise, you're worried about him just being kited. And they're looking for that sweet spot before Moogie is ready.
Well, they're coming. Smoke.
He does have cheese, though.
They have the vision. It's the Observer Ward just up the hill. So Ursa gets hit, gets his Enrage off. So he will be able to survive that little bit longer. Tidehunter in the neighborhood. Does he trigger the cheese? No, he doesn't. Ursa, without buyback, actually accepts his fate.
Luckily for Newbie, Roshan's not going to respawn for another minute. Sad times for Bristleback.
That's a lot of time. That's always in the later portion of the spawn time.
That's going to be sad about that one.
Arteezy going to assault the mid tower. KP with a gush, he drags the creep wave off the tower, and more onto Arteezy.
They don't want to commit to this too hard. Arteezy could easily be on the other side of the tower with his back facing towards the Radiant base, but realizing that Ursa could potentially buy back and set up for a good fight, he will play it a little bit safer.
Yes, the Clockwork Rocket was able to scan out the movement from the other EG players. So Karka understands what's going on. 32-25 gets pinged. You still have another 27 seconds until Roshan.
Both teams are ready.
Karka? Okay. Put down a sentry ward of his own. I think he's trying to find that aggressive vision that EG have. He'll have to look up on top of the hill if he wants to find it.
At least it's not in the normal spot, though. The normal spot gives him way too much vision for Newbie to be comfortable with. And without that, they can perhaps blink across into the pit if they don't have vision on the high ground and stick with Ursa. And that always has to be a lurking thought in EG's mind. It's Ursa and Roche, but he's actually just still farming up his BKB. He did buy 2 pieces before he died, so he's still pretty close to it.
Yeah, just needs the recipe. He's hit 1100, so just under 300 gold away from having it. And EG, it takes so long for them to still kill off Roshan. So this is their other problem, that Ursa can probably complete his BKB in time, or does he? The TPs are coming in. You got a fresh Hurricane Pike over on SC.
And that's a negative on the BKB. He's going to have to fight this one without it.
He's trying to farm. This is just harassment. SC will Hurricane Pike himself up to safety. Is all delayed. Mookie is so close. He needs 100 gold. KP getting caught out. The torrent won't connect. Bates in the name, but underneath the sentry one. That's why Arteezy is able to hit him. KP pushed away to safety by his own Force-Staff. And EG want to fight. And Ursa, there it is. He now has the BKB. Courier will bring it out. And he moves over quickly towards Roshan.
This clockwork rocket flare, very annoying for EG to deal with, but they will have to fight with full vision.
Here they come. SC has the vision inside, tries to hit Arteezy. Torrent's going to miss.
That range on Halbert, though.
Roshan's so low. They know they have to end this. EG needs to take this fight. Samel has to get Syrian chains off. Clockwork, hookshotted himself in, still has the cogs. Doesn't want to throw it down because he'll block his own teammate if he's not careful. That's why SC goes to the defensive imprisonment. Roshan still insanely low. Another rocket gets the vision, but as the BKB Ursa looking for his target. Can't find a hero, so he's moving in. He's trying to steal Roshan from Arteezy. Will he have enough? Hitting Arteezy as well as Roshan. The torrent will come in. KP triggers the Ravage, and Roshan, the Aegis Immortal, is snatched out by the Ursa Warrior. SC holding on to the Eclipse. He wants the big target. Arteezy almost gone. They continue to steal the intelligence from him. Arteezy will fall. 70 seconds on the sideline. No one else for EG to kill, for Newbie to kill. So EG will retreat.
He had to expect to get Ravaged there. Maybe, I think Sumail was trying to identify where the Tidehunter was. At least stop his Blink Dagger with a Sleight of Fist. Ideally hit him with a chain so you can stop it with him for a blink for a little bit longer. But KP sat outside patiently, waited until it was very low. I think the Ravage did set off a Quills so that Bristleback did get the last hit, but still Aegis onto the Ursa, and then the Cheese went the way of Tidehunter, who has passed it along to his teammate SCCC.
They give the extra life in for SEC during the next engagement. So you have both Aegis and Cheese on the Ursa. Again, they're starting to rack him and stack him here, Newbie.
Zai was really close to predicting the Blink Ravage though with the Torrent. Had that happened, oh my god, would that have been a big fight for EG. And he was extremely close, maybe just half a second off from that. They tried to set it up, but that's slightly wishful thinking, although certainly worth going for that play.
An Observer Ward will finally be brought down within the last minute of its life. And then the new one planted just out of range of the Radiant Sentry that was down. So Crick continues the vision advantage. A Blink Dagger will now arrive in for SC.
He needs to be able to get some Arcane Orbs off in the fight. He is constantly getting disarmed or he's missing. And there's not any one single item that's going to help him do that. If he BKBs, he still has to deal with the 43% evasion. And if he gets Lincolns to prevent the Halberd, he still needs to deal with the evasion.
Is it worth just going in for a Monkey King bar? And
it's just not great on OT though.
I don't disagree, but if you're not hitting, you're not hitting. And he's going for the Shiva's Guard in his quick buy. The Monkey King bar is being purchased, but it's not by the OD, it's done by the Ursa.
For the Ursa, it's fine. For the OD, it's just, you want more int, because you want to be able to kill everyone else. Like, maybe you can just ideally ignore the Bristleback and go for everyone else, but right now I think Bristle needs BKB so he can fight without getting destroyed. Kited is the only anti-kiting item that I think can go right now.
Well, he did switch it. It's in the quick buy after picking up the plate mail. So at least his armor is half decent.
It is. He has to be able to get in the fight. Normally you just walk into the fight as Bristle, but when you get piked, you're not in a good spot. And then after you get piked, if you keep running forward, you're still going to take a lot of Arcane Orbs on the front, and you have to back off even further potentially to prevent all those Arcane Orbs from hitting. So it's not easy for Bristle.
Well, there it is. The BKB is done just under the 38-minute mark.
And I think they'll probably actually scout it out with that rocket. So now they can devise their game plan accordingly. I don't actually know if they scouted out. They could have if they clicked exactly.
They're smoking without the Ursa Warrior. He's still pushing on the bottom lane. So they want to fight without the damage that comes from the Ursa. Quick Observer Ward down. Doesn't see Sumail TPing away.
Who could they kill. They could kill Ember with a Ravage.
Bristle is the only target they currently have available, and Kunka is not too far away. Zai is running the defense. There's your Yule Scepter up and towards the air. Put him down. Where is that Storm? It's not controlling up Arteezy. The BKB, they can't even bait it down. Arteezy knows he doesn't need to use it. The X marks the spot, looking to bring back Kunka into the ship, but the defensive imprisonment cancels the fun. KP ready with the blink Ravage, but no Arteezy hitting with the cool spray. He couldn't get close enough to the fight. Split up. You'll lose the Disruptor. Universe, however, so much damage from NC, but stopped. Crit was able to hit him with a frostbite. Now is Kaka trapped inside of his own cogs, looking to run away, but Samel right over him, ready to burn him down. Now you're Ravage from KP, create a little bit of space. Samel does finally pick off the clockwork, but SC looking to hold him just a little bit longer. Keep the Bristleback out of this fight. And now they're chasing. The Searing Chains is on the Ursa. He's got cheese plus Aegis. He'll burn the cheese to start with. Looking to fight up against Arteezy. BKB still on cooldown for a while. As Moogie will retreat.
I'm surprised he burned the cheese there when he did have the Aegis in tow. But he's a little bit confined for items. Doesn't really want to hold both.
Well, the Aegis, the Immortal, actually times out in 10-20 seconds.
His teammates were coming in from the north side, so he thought they could get a kill, but the surge right at the Diffusal Blade quelled any attempts at that.
He's actually burned so many Diffusal Blade charges too. He's already on the second wave of Diffusal. That's going to be an item he just can never get back.
Yeah, that's when you have to rely on the clockwork to be able to trap heroes in or disrupt it with the glimpses. But it's been very tough for them to isolate targets and keep them in attack range.
Man, KP's got so much money. He just finished a refresher orb on this Tidehunter.
I have no idea how he found that. And I don't actually think he'll have mana issues. Normally you do, and normally you'll see Mango's picked up, but he has Essence Aura, so you don't have to cast them back to back. If you're Tidehunter, just maybe wait for a proc or two and you're good.
Wonderful thing, if you're a newbie, the team fight just becomes even better for you.
I think this is going to come as a big surprise to EG, this double Ravage.
It's very problematic as well. You trigger your first BKB and, well, none of these heroes from EG are refresher buyers. So they will probably, you know, it's almost a guaranteed second Ravage unless you can kill the Tidehunter beforehand, and you're not willing to commit to kill the Tidehunter.
Certainly not. And I think the double Ravage is going to be imperative if they want to kill the Ember Spirit. Like twice the stun duration on him for a hero like Ursa who needs those precious few tenths of seconds to burst down heroes. This Lincoln Sphere isn't going to save Ember Spirit at all.
Now it's up to EG how they want to try and take this fight. Again, we could be just playing around Roshan. He seems to be the most popular person during this grand final. Second only to the 3 gold that is Crystal Maiden.
Party in the pit.
Newbies still feel like the masters of that just because of their vision play. They're always counter-initiating into EG in the pit.
But now they have BKB up on Bristle, so if they wait too long, he just BKBs, takes the Aegis, potentially the cheese too, and newbie are out of luck. And they need to prevent that from happening, so now they have to reevaluate how they approach the pit.
Well, that's when you probably look towards Kaka, right? You look towards the hookshot, that interruption, and then allow him just to force into the pit. Your other option is get a lot of money onto a Disruptor and finish an Aghanim Scepter. Then that BKB, it won't matter if you get the initiation off.
Faith is constantly poor in the series, though. Hasn't been able to buy a Midas at all. Not
the,
living the life of luxury.
It's the optimism. He's got Aghanim Scepter in his quick buy when he's got 3.8k net worth.
Poor guy. That's less than 100.
It's like, I'm going to buy an item which is more valuable than anything I currently own. Glimpse, Arteezy, there's your hook shot forward. Do they commit the storm this time around? No. The 4 stars gets Arteezy out of the wall. Trying to force a reaction, maybe trying to force again a BKB charge. Arteezy's being very cool, calm, and collective about it, holding onto his 9-second charge.
He has such a big window to pop his BKB, though. They can't prevent him from casting it. Maybe if he gets like a lucky string of bashes, but that is hardly something that you can rely on, especially with this massive amount of evasion. So yeah, he could pop at like 20%, maybe even less, and still feel good about it. I guess maybe the only threat is Astral Imprisonment, or sorry, Astral Sammy's Eclipse.
EG are coming. 5-man smoke. The Iron Shells are going to push out to mid. KP's the man. A quick force stomp. The Torrent will not be connected because of this. They're X-marking as well as pulling him back into the range of the ship. SC defensive imprisonment actually helped him dodge the attack from the ship, and they push further away. A blink away from KP. Newbie disengage from EG's aggression.
And now they can reinitiate with the Blink Ravage if they so desire. The only thing Titan could use that fight was just pipe.
I think EG's going to check Roshan, but again, it's like this game wants us to keep going longer and longer. Roshan is almost the max spawn time. Another minute and a half until he's going to come into play.
They're going to do the long wraparound to the north side, and it's actually the even longer of a wraparound. They're not immediately skirting to the east. They're going to the northeast and potentially cutting south, but nope, they've caught Sumail, or what they think.
Well, SC's going to push the lane. You have to go for a blind hook to hit that one.
I'm surprised he rocketed to the north side over there. I think he was trying to catch on the Ember Spirit. If they caught him with Rocket Fire, that could have been a hook shot into a big play.
Especially when Ember is still shy of buyback. Only like 200 gold or so. But shy nonetheless. So, keep your countdown eyes. 52 seconds until Roshan is up. As Newbie try and push this mid lane back out again. They've got the momentum, they get a little bit more insight to where EG is, and Sumail attacking the bottom tower. If you can reach it, that tier 3 towers are taking a little bit of chip damage from the push that EG did previously.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. But EG, they had illusions to scout inside the pit, now they have nothing. And it's like, it's been 10 minutes since the last Roshan death. And as you mentioned, popular man, he's going to get some more loving over here.
Yep. Sumail's committed into this fight. Finished the entire Octarine, so no buyback available for him. It's only the Darkseer, the Ursa, and the OD who currently have buybacks on the field. With Roshan up in, well, now, scattered out. Ember Spirit very quickly away. But Newbie are aware that Roshan is up. So it's up to Moogie if he wants to go in.
This is a very swift gank by EG. They ran it back and immediately spoke Kaka.
They're looking for the clockwork. They're looking for the man who actually keeps providing the vision. Hook shot in, tries to create space, but the torrent, the frostbite holds him there. The cold to push him back. So clockwork is down. He does not have buyback available. So EG, is this your time when you can take Roshan or not? You're still up against Double Ravage. You're still up against the Ursa Warrior.
They don't know that Clockwork doesn't have buyback, but they probably don't think that he's that big of a deal in the fight for them, especially now that BKB is up on the person back. Not a huge deal, and RTZ will start.
They smoked around the back, out of range. Are they going to loop all the way around? Yeah, you can see the line being drawn. And EG, are they reading this? Zai's in a great position to pop the smoke. The issue is they don't really see him, so the blink down. Universal force up himself up the hillside. Dagger Ravage, #1 will trigger. Zai caught inside the storm. He can't get the boat off in time. He wants to live, but it won't work. Sumail needs more help. Ravage #2 is ready to go. KP holding until RTZ's BKB is going to wear off while Moogie mopping up the back lines. In comes KP again, holding the Ravage. He's almost down. Now he lets it go. Catching Sumail with the OD only. Sumail, he can spirit himself away a little bit further to safety. Clockwork will come back to life again. Crystal Maiden will have to buy her way into this world as Arteezy enters the pit. The Clockwork rockets revealing what's going on. Moogie ready to fight if EG will oblige. But for now, they keep the goose stacks up. Arteezy wants to keep this fight going. They know there's no Ravage. Both were committed. Eclipse is down. But the Ursa Warrior is still a formidable force. And you see that open slot he's keeping. He wants the Aegis of the Immortal. He wants to take the cheese if possible. Even keeping both the Vlads and the Demon Edge in his backpack. So we can just jump in and claim Roshan.
They need to wait for the BKB up on RTZ though, or else there's too high of a risk that he gets stun locked.
9 seconds off road. BKB still not there. KP trying to get some distance. And now, well, there's your X-Mark spot, the hook shot in. They're pushing doubly Zai away with a force stance, but they're in the back lines fight. The storm might be down, but Arteezy walks through it under the cover of that BKB. SC starting to steal a little bit of intelligence against Sumail. Sleight of fist, the boat is coming, it's a little bit too far away, but the back into a torrent is connected. OD OD will fall. Buybacks available. Something to try and OD will end up committing his KP. Forced up him away as well. The Frost is actually keeping Moogie in position, but won't be enough. Not when he can trigger off the cheese and stand his ground and fight. SC still so damn big. Looking to fight hard, but Arteezy, how is he still alive? Doing so much damage. Keeping 3.2k life, that's one way to do it. SC's in the neighborhood. Wants to hit him if he can. Blink tank is available, not to mention that Hurricane Plank with the help of Moogie. They go after Arteezy. SC is a double kill. Universe on the run too. SC, do you want to go for that one with a blink forward, the double hit? It's a triple kill for the OD, but Arteezy spies back in. They want this Roshan. They want to fight it. The triple spirit, but no! It gets dodged out by the imprisonment. You want to keep fighting with the force up to the high ground. They still have the advantage. 72 stolen intelligence currently in the hands of SC. EG, the longer they fight, the dumber they get. They want KP. 15 seconds until he's got Ravage. Arteezy's BKB is back on cooldown. They look for SC. His BKB is currently protecting him. Keep running. Back to the tier 2 towers. KP needs 5 more seconds for Ravage to be available. Back to the tier 2. 1 second. Does he trigger it? No, he doesn't. They try and glimpse back out to safety, but it won't be enough. 2 big cores dead for Newbie for a very long time. EG want to pressure the issue. They go to the tier 3 tower in the bottom lane. EG will enter the base. They are 1 game victory away from taking the grand final, and they want the advantage. While they know the 2 Newbie heroes cannot come back to life again. Wow, you actually going for this? Arteezy's looking at the tier 4 towers. The Storm is down. He doesn't have his BKB up and running, so they can silence him as well as Ember Spirit. Caught on the edge of it, but now the Storm is lost. They find the Clockwork. Yule Scepter will protect him for the moment, but Arteezy beating the tier 4 towers. Disruptor locked in position and brought down. EG, they have the numbers. They have the manpower. They have the strength. The question is, can they finish the job? Ursa wants to fight. Parker looking to come in. The battery assault. He can't reach him. The Cogs have their distance. Ursa jumping in the back lines, trying to kill off the one person he thinks he can do. The supports looking for the Kung from the Crystal Maid, but his BKB is worn off. Triple hold him there with a frostbite, and now they just let it go. All over Newbie. This can be it. There's no one left. They're all dead. It's done. It's done. EG are your champions, taking the series 3-1 against Newbie.
An incredible display of teamwork, 4 staff usage, just kiting all around. They rendered this Ursa useless, playing excellently around the pit, controlling the Roshan and Evil Geniuses. 1 stutter along the way, and they're past the grand finals victory.
Man, what a tense series. It wasn't action-packed all the way through, but you knew it. It was the breath waiting for the Storm to connect, and EG really showing so much patience. Same with Newbie, both deserving to be here in the grand final. A terrific performance from both, but there's going to be one victor, and it will be Evil Geniuses taking it 3 games to 1.
And an incredible pass.
All right, round of applause to EG. We're gonna have a medal ceremony, of course, awarding each member before they raise the Manila Masters trophy. Really quick, Samel, what do you have to say to Manila? What do you have to say to Manila?
Thank you for supporting us, and you're one of the best fans we have ever seen, I think.
Any message for Manila before we close this night? Anything you want to say to Manila from each of course, EG?
Thanks for a great weekend. Thanks for the support. We love you guys.
Okay. Make some noise for Zai. Arteezy?
I just want to thank everybody who stayed up all the way, all night.
Thank you, Manila.
Thank you, Manila, from EG, giving us memes till the end. All right, so we're gonna call now, of course, the founder of Mineski for the medal ceremony. They're gonna give it, of course, to EG. Here we go, lots of love. One more time, lots of love for EG, come on. And let's give a round of applause to Newbie for an amazing performance as well. Thank you, Newbie. All right, we will of course have the medals to come shortly after, but for now, why don't you guys raise the Manila Masters Trophy, your champions, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a round of applause to the Manila Masters champions, Evil Geniuses! Congratulations to Evil Geniuses. Once again, give them a round of applause. And thank you, Manila, for being so amazing. It's been a wonderful 3 days. Evil Geniuses, one more time. Thank you and congratulations to our Manila Masters champions. Gonna throw it over to Cap now to take it home.
That's right, Zai lifts up the trophy for Evil Geniuses that they've secured themselves $125,000 as the champions of the Manila Masters. We're going to take a moment to go back over that series and over that final game with Luminous, Trent, and Jack. They finally did it. Evil Geniuses, they managed to break Newbie and take that 4th game.
If there's one thing I think that we talked a lot about during this series, it was obviously Sumail. I mean, he stood out so much through all of those games, but one thing that was great about that final game is I think you could say something amazing about any of those players. I think you can look at moments in that game that everyone really shone through, you know? It wasn't like there was all on one person or anything. And for me, the biggest play of that whole game was right at that first Roche, when it looked like Newbie were completely uncontested. You know, we've seen so many teams take this Ursa, they grab the Aegis, and they just snowball right from there. But Universe, he went Soul Ring, 4-staff. And that one 4-staff, saving that fight, that mid-tower, tier 1, stopped that whole snowball in its tracks, torched him down, and then from there, they were able to kind of hold out that game from EG. I just thought it was such a fantastic pickup and not something we really see too often.
Just want to keep this in perspective. A few hours ago, they were maybe one set of Raxes away from bowing out to NP. They stuck in there, the resilience, the slightest of openings, they managed to crack that open, come back, win that series, and then come here and take on Newbie. So I obviously have to credit this team's resilience, the lower bracket kings as they're known, and then just great drafting, I think, throughout the finals. I think they were very prepared. Maybe it's noticeable they have 2 coaches here with them here, and Newbie, of course, stopped having the coach, and Sansheng stopped coaching them a while ago. You have to wonder if that made a difference here in the big picture in the drafting. Just a great series by EG.
Yeah, just being able to play so many top quality games after games after games, because they had long games against NP as well, so that is just crazy. And back on Newbie side, that Ursa pick that looked really good, maybe not so good. I mean, he was like the highest net worth throughout the whole game, or for a large part of it, and even with Ravages and eventually double Ravages when it was unable to kill through multiple 4-staffs and whatnot. These team fights just lasted forever, and I don't think Ursa wants to fight like that. Ursa is all about that one jump in for the quick pick, and they were really unable to do so.
And it certainly seemed like Newbie tried their hardest to be able to secure that Roshan time and time again. Real quickly, just a couple words about Newbie and this run through the tournament.
I think it was interesting to see a team that was so dedicated to that style and now coming up against another team that was very dedicated, right? We saw EG, specifically the Razor. They ran it the whole way through, felt like a lot of the drafts revolved around that. And then with Newbie, it was the Tidehunter. They came, they clashed in the final, but really it seemed to come down to the adaptation from EG in this final. They showed us something new. They showed us that bristleback that was missing the whole time, and that's what gave it to them. So maybe Newbie, perhaps we'll see something different from them in the future.
I think an encouraging sign moving forward for Newbie. They did beat some strong teams here. They did like this patch when it first came out. I just think you see some very clear signs of that. But maybe some of the drafting might have to change a little bit to get better results. And perhaps most importantly, you have to wonder about the TI picture, right? Like, I think we agree that EG with winning this tournament probably secured themselves a spot at TI. Newbie, who knows with how the Chinese team is right now. It's hard to say.
Even though they bowed out 3-1 to EG, I felt like Newbie played like really good Dota, like the best Dota I've seen in a couple of weeks, especially in the new patch. And that's actually saying a lot because there's a lot of great teams playing Dota right now. So hopefully they will continue to improve and they do get themselves back to TM.
All right, well, we're gonna go back over the stage now for our medal ceremony with Evil Geniuses.
All right, one more time, Evil Geniuses, your champions. And we have Ronald Robbins here, founder of Mineski. A round of applause for Mineski for pulling off an amazing event. Congratulations. A few words, and we're going to award, of course, our Evil Geniuses. Here we go. Ronald Robbins.
I would like to thank everybody for coming to this event, and see you in the Masters 2018.
All right, 2018 confirmed. Let's now award, of course, our players, Evil Geniuses. Universe, congratulations. Male. Zai for the memes, thank you. The Captain Crit. And RTZ. Evil Geniuses, Manila loves you, and congratulations for being champions. Raise your trophy one more time as we put a wonderful close to a wonderful tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, Evil Geniuses.
Out for 2 minutes. He has no choice. He has to re-engage an LMP. Patient on the Eclipse. Lets it fly. Blocking Envy down. They're going to deal with that Armadillo. They will finish him up. And looking for more now as Secret find their footing. Deep ball crashing through. Taking the TA down. Clutch Gamers are absolutely crushed. 3 dead. Going to be 4 once Rappy gets finished off here. It really is a disaster up top, Lumi. Spirit isolated, not dead yet though. Fada will fall. They drop the rock and they look to follow. Burn.
You can't win them all, but I'm proud I tried.
To let it go, blinks forward. She doesn't even need to. Remember that Aegis Immortal. The timer is going to be close. I don't want to kill him off. The rock is nice, plus the fatal bond. Nuts be the first one to fall. 4-man back. Drag them all back into the fight.
Time taking risks.
More crucial targets than XY. Charges in. He's going to force out the NDBKB. There's no way you kill XY yet. He's going to wait out this pipe. Wait out this.
Break away. Forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway.
LC, jadi menurut gua
baka man yan di pa ng Brad Banga.
ตีทาวเวอร์แตกไปอีมาอีกแล้วเอ้า
Look at the electric vortex, not just 5. There you go. Parang Blacko lang dito ang ginawa ni Sumail David.
And Simply Mind, finally a stun, but EG hanging on a home and a fair keeps them in the game, at least for now.
He ran into Kaka. Oh, Kaka! He missed the fire strike. The Orchid is on him. He'll move around the tree lines. A quick Yor Scepter up. At least dispels off the damage that will come out from the Orchid. Kaka. Tag is available, not to mention the Hurricane flag with a helmet boogie. They go after Arteezy. SC is a double kill. Universe on the run too. SC, do you want to go for that one with a blink ball, the double hit, and a triple kill for the OD. But Arteezy fights back in. They want this Roshan. They want to fight it. The triple spirit, but no! It gets dodged out by the imprisonment. You want to keep fighting with the force up to the high ground. They still have the advantage. 72 stolen intelligence currently in the hands of SC. EG the long with a